sustainable journalism platform, sustainablejournalism.se. And I see that most of you have actually registered for membership. Those who haven't done so yet, please do so now, because that is where the action will continue to be and the discussion will continue to be. So it's yeah, it looks okay. Well, I guess so. So this is the first idea, that we jointly develop the what you have discussed, the Octopussy media, and then we develop this into something that is tangible, according to Richard's advice, and we try to sell it. So that is one thing that we want to do. And we want to set up pilot premium teams in an African context. I think most of you were fascinated with Patrick. He's just so extremely commercial, and I love the guy. But he is. It's interesting what he says, because he's kind of breaking down the sacred walls, and he's doing it in a way that improves journalism and that also improves trust and improves business. It's extremely interesting. And they used to be the most conservative print newspaper. It's like, oh, you just fell asleep if you saw it. And now, in 1 year, they have turned this into this wild digital, who has the ugliest tattoo platform, right? So let's see, could we do something similar in an African context? Maybe JamLab could incubate with your grants. Next is gender, if you want to. Yeah. I think you all appreciated Alexandra's report. It's fantastic. Could we do a similar report on gender? Gender journalism that works. From my opinion, I'm always, I don't think we need another report that says that it's not equal between men and women. We know that, but we need a report that says, how can we change this through good journalism? So could we do something similar, gender journalism that works? And WANIFRA, Women in News, they have done one study that is a good one, and we can continue on that track, but very much action-oriented, so we know what to do and how to change. Next one. We're in the dark.
Can you take it?
Soraya is the expert. Okay, next. Education. We have discussed a lot of ideas on education. And it's interesting to see with this sustainable journalism approach, yes, the context is of course different in Kenya and Rwanda and Sweden and Finland, but the challenges are to a great extent very similar. So we believe that if we jointly can develop courses and modules, masters, undergraduate, and training modules for working journalists, we could share this knowledge, we can develop knowledge jointly together, and we can do this with Tampere, Linnaeus, Umeå, WITS, Aga Khan, and Pula University in Croatia, a fantastic woman who's extremely dedicated to sustainable journalism. And I'm sure there will be other universities who want to catch on. I spoke to Monica from the Christian University of Uganda this morning, and I'm sure there are others. Margaret, are you on? Okay, great. So and Richard, you are on. Yeah, you're allowed to do anything you want. But can you pass him? As long as as long as you're short and sharp.
I love the idea of creating courses. I'm interested if there's demand for them.
Richard.
So let me just jump in, because I think one of the things that's emerged quite consistently during the conference is the lack of capacity to do climate change reporting, for example. And just on the very limited sample that we have in this room, Richard, I can say that there is demand. What we can do is do a rationalization process where we don't duplicate that production at multiple universities, but we do one that we put online, for example, and make accessible to a number of people. Not you.
And let me just add that, the idea is to create the courses, but how we do that is involving those that are asking for the courses on, what are they looking for? So we're not going to prescribe what the content is because we don't know. We think we know, but they'll have to tell us, what their skills gaps are.
And we could also include in this action point to have surveys. I think we certainly feel there is a demand. And Alexandra's conclusion is also that there is a great demand, but we can be more specific on that.
I want to chime in very quickly with the example of the AIP course that we just ran yesterday. We at WITS had put out a call for participants, free, food included, transport included, a couple of months ago, and it was a financial literacy course, and people said, not coming. Why? Because they felt that it was too high level, pitched at a university level, right? They just saw the university part of it. So what we then did is Kate went round to the network and said, what do you want to see in the course? And completely shifted how we did it. And once we did that, we had a full class. So it's just changed how we're going to approach these things in the future. But that's a good example of how we should be doing it.
Great. Next action point, which is climate. And I think this is the way we should go, that we use the information that we get from the researchers and the data we get from the researcher, and then we put them into action, into operation. And this fantastic report, I don't need to market it anymore, I guess. I've already overdone it. But let us test the recommendation in the EBU report in an East and Southern Africa context. And I would love to do it also in the Nordic context. Maybe Matlena, this is something we could work on together, because I really love this, that we share knowledge and share experiences. What did this work in Finland? Did this work in Kenya? Why didn't it work? And to create more knowledge, more understanding. So that is another thing we want to do. And lastly, research. Thank you. Faster than I. Well, journal articles on sustainable journalism, that's kind of a given. But we, that we have that Journalism in Practice, which is one of the most prestigious media research journalists. They will have a special issue on sustainable journalism, which is quite extraordinary, actually. Yeah, I know. That's the one. That's one, and it's being published, I think. Yeah, didn't I say that? Journalism and Practice. I shouldn't argue with the researcher, but I think it's journalism. Yeah, I think it's Journalism and Practice. Yeah. And unfortunately, we're a bit late but maybe we can talk to them. Yeah. Yeah, that's another possibility.
I think Bruce has just volunteered to to lead a special issue. Thank you, Bruce. We love that. Thank you.
But we put that in research, under research. Bruce, you're with us now. No escape. Oh, great, great. As also, we have a researchers group in the Nordics with some of the people that you mentioned, Bruce, where they are engaged. Scarlett from Oslo Met University, people from the Tampere University and several Swedish university. And that would also be something we can build on. And proposal from George that we can initiate an industry research institutions, academic institutions partnership. That was not very well formulated, but I guess you get the point. To do market and audience research. So basically, this needs some editing, obviously. In industry and research institutions working together in a partnership. And I think that is very much what the Sustainable Journalism Partnership is about. So, but if this, once again, put this into practice and make something out of it, operational. So that's another question. Nancy.
I mean, I'm not speaking for George, but I work with him, so sometimes I imagine I know what he's trying to say. But I guess what, you know, when Bruce was speaking, was it Bruce or Richard? You know, the silos that exist between the academy and the industry. And you know, when we are thinking about sustainable journalism, is how do we break those silos and ensure that, you know, we are speaking to each other, but also researching together, and, you know, and sharing that information. George, was that what you were trying to say?
Well, now you know. Now you know. Now you know what you meant. So I think I mean during these 3 days we have proven how easy it is to break out of those silos and how wonderful it is. So let's just continue doing that. Last action point: communication. We need to communicate what we are doing, spread the message. Nation Media Group have done 6 case studies, among them Nation Media Climate Desk, the Standard Gender Desk, The Voice from Botswana as one example, Sustainability Today, Ylva's magazine as another example, and Patrick, the Premium Teams as another example. So those are the beginning, and we have done a format with text, photo, and video. So we just need to continue to do more examples, and that is also why we included in the group work. Can you name a few good examples of what you consider to be good example of sustainable journalism? So you can please share with me or Nancy or Dinesh if you see something and think, wow, this is a really good example of sustainable journalism. Share with us, and we can see if we can continue to develop this in this format, which will be crucial for funding. And this is not the final edition. No, I think we have one more thing to go, and that is, of course, to at conferences, research conferences, whatever kind of gatherings, that we, all of us, talk about sustainable journalism, because that is the way we need to do as a community. I mean, we started Sustainable Journalism Partnership 9 months ago, and now we have members in 63 countries. Now we haven't even done a survey. We don't know who we are targeting. It's like everyone, and it's spreading incredibly fast. We have no marketing strategy, nothing. It's just the idea, and now we need some money. But most of all, I think we need engagement. So that is fantastic. So those of you, please, that haven't done so already, please log in and apply for membership, because this is where the action will continue, and this is where the cooperation will continue.